And we're back. Hey everyone, it's Kathy here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is gonna be my November reading wrap up and I'm so excited. I've read a hefty 9 books and I'm so excited to share with you guys what I read. I'm making new videos every Monday and Thursday for the month of December, so definitely subscribe and I hope you guys enjoy my little reading wrap up of these wonderful books. Okay, let's get started. So we're gonna start off with what I read on my Kindle, and it's one of my favorite books ever. My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This book is my favorite book ever. It's my comfort book for sure. I believe this book is the reason why I have high expectations in love. This book is about a girl named Samantha, or Sam as you would say, and she lives with her mom, who is into politics. Her mom has a trust fund, and then she has an older sister. Her mom has high expectations for Sam. They had these neighbors move in next door when she was 8, and her mom absolutely despises them, but she was always intrigued by them. Finally, the summer before her senior year of high school, she was just looking out one night, and one of the guys from that family, the Garretts, walked up to her, and he's like, "Why are you up here? Why don't you come down and see for yourselves?" And she finds herself really immersed into this fantasy that she put in her head of this crazy family, the Garretts. It's just like a summer of romance. She has like problem with friends. It's like literally the typical summer story of falling in love with your neighbor. And honestly, Sam and Jace, they are the blueprint of I love them. They are my favorite couple. And I could see them after this book, like I could see them like just be together forever. So yeah, anyways, I love them so much, and this is just literally my favorite book. And if anyone has any judgmental things to say about them, then that's invalid, because I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars because I love them so very much and they are very near and dear to my heart. 5 out of 5. Forever an amazing book for me to read. I could reread it every time and just like fall in love all over again. That's how much I love them. But yes, My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. Such a classic in my library, to be honest. It truly is my favorite book ever, if I'm being real. We are going to continue on with this Huntley Fitzpatrick train. I read another Huntley Fitzpatrick book because I feel like Huntley Fitzpatrick is one of those authors who just knows how to write very wholesome romantic books, and that's what I was feeling this month. I'm gonna be real with you. What I thought was true is about a girl named Gwen Castle who lives in like the poorer side of town where everyone really struggles and everything, and last year, she had this incident with one of the rich boys that just moved into this, like, the richer part of town named Cass. And she was like, I want to avoid him. He literally humiliated me. I don't want to deal with him. But Cass is spending his summer working in the poorer side of the island. So she really gets to see Cass's true colors again. She's in this little boat of, do I really regret being with him? Like, I don't want to deal with him. Or is he just this really sweet boy that was perceived as a very cocky rich boy that's getting everything handed to him? Just kind of that typical story. Over the summer, she literally falls back in love with him, but then at the same time it tells you what happened this past spring, that the reason why she despises him and like his flaws. And it's just kind of her battling, like, is he actually who he says he is when he's in the poorer side of the island, or is it all a ruse to get me because I was an easy hookup? So that's a tea. Honestly, I love this book. To be honest, with all the conflict and like her conflict with home and her conflict with like growing up and like her summer and like how this is written, I would say I give this book a solid 4 stars. Although it's pretty long and like some parts could be shorter, I feel like you definitely get a feel for the whole story and just really get to know the characters inside and out, and it feels like the story was complete. So yes, 4 out of 5 stars. The first few books of this reading wrap up is definitely just like wholesome romantic books. that was my mood. You know, I feel like I'm a mood reader, TBH. But anyway, off topic. Up next, I read Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. I saw this on TikTok. Basically, it is a girl named Pepper and a boy named Jack, and they are literally in the biggest food wars ever through Twitter because Pepper, her parents own a big franchise, and they were launching a new product called Grandma's Grilled Cheese, and Jack's family actually owns a small deli in New York, and it was his grandma's recipe, and they didn't know they were on a tweet war until Jack saw Pepper's phone. Jack is just a class clown. Pepper is like a high achieved student, like just really cares about her grades and puts her head down. They're just in this viral Twitter war, and they actually start to fall in love. Honestly, it's not my favorite book. It's definitely a romantic comedy-esque type of book. I didn't really feel a connection with the characters, but it is a cute book. I would say I would give this book a 2 out of 5 stars because it's not my favorite. I didn't like how the girl's name was Pepper, but they did have a cute relationship, and it was not a DNF. Okay, I'm gonna notch it up to 3 stars because I actually kind of enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite. Anyway, Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. Up next is another reread, the second reread. You guys, I've talked about this book Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. This book is about a girl named Emily, and her best friend Sloane went missing for the summer. Sloane is very cool. She's like easy to talk to. Emily was shy. She doesn't really know how to be in social situations. Sloane just disappeared for the summer, nothing except a letter. The letter had a list, and Emily thought that if she finished this list, it would lead to Sloane. What she didn't realize is that she would form some new friendships and maybe a new relationship along the way, and just kind of navigate life without Sloane and find out Sloane's big secret. I love this book. Teenage summer type beat. Again, this is one of my comfort reads. I love this book. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. She's one of my faves. This next book. This is one of the 2 books that I absolutely loved. I read November 9th by Colleen Hoover. Ben and Fallon are my favorite Colleen Hoover couple. This is my first time reading November 9th, and I decided to read it on November 9th. By the way, a reading vlog is coming soon, so you guys could see like my whole reaction. But Fallon Meets Ben. I love this book. Fallon Meets Ben, literally the day she's leaving LA to move to New York to pursue some new dreams. During that whole day they spend together, they feel this connection with each other. And she was 18 years old when they first met. 17, 18, I don't remember. And they just kind of formed this whole connection with each other. But this doesn't stop Fallon from moving to New York because her mom, which is one of her favorite people in the world, said, "You're not allowed to fall in love until you're 23. They decide to set up goals for each other. They decide they'll meet up for the next 5 November 9ths, and so much happens. And you realize that it's fate that they met, but at the same time there's a complicated situation on why they met. And this book, people say it's one of the more milder Colleen Hoover books, and it for sure is, but this book is chef's kiss, absolute masterpiece. And it's just so absolutely heartbreaking. Every November 9th they meet up, they always re-fall in love with each other, but they're like, we're not allowed to stay with each other until our deal is over. And the one quote that's in the back of the book, "You'll never be able to find yourself if you're lost within someone else." And this kind of feeds the idea of during these 5 years like that they had this deal, they promised to find themselves and really reflect on them before they could actually let them fall in love with each other. And if they're truly soulmates, then that would really happen during their timing, you know, during their time, and when they just feel like they decide it's right. And it's such a beautiful book. It is one of my favorite books that I read this year. There's so much I want to say, but reading vlog coming soon for like all of my thoughts. Highly recommend reading this book if you haven't. That's all I gotta say. I want to say this is a 5 out of 5 star read for me. I absolutely loved this book. I don't really see a flaw in this book. Like, there wasn't really a part that I really genuinely hated. I feel like every piece concept of this book was really well connected, really well written. Chef's kiss. A masterpiece. highly, highly, highly recommend. I love this book. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. On the contrast end, this next book, it was supposed to give, but it didn't. Book Talk let me down with this one. This is In 5 Years by Rebecca Sirley. This book is about a girl named Danny. She has a meticulously organized life and she lives her life by numbers, and she is nothing like her best friend Bella, who lives by fate. She's like, if I'm meant to be there, I'm meant to be there. So Danny lands her dream job. Her boyfriend proposes to her, the boyfriend that literally fits her puzzle. She fell asleep completely content, but there's this dream that she has. She's in a new place. It's 5 years later with a brand new man, and it's like literally nothing like the life that she lived. She's like, what the heck? She decides to go to therapy. Oh, it's just a weird dream, but she really can't brush it off. The year that the dream took place in, her whimsical best friend, who's very carefree and doesn't really commit, says, hey, I met this guy, and it's the guy from the dream. It shook up her life. She's like, is this the life I'm meant to live? Is my best friend Bella living this life that I'm meant to live? And something else happened to Bella. This is a story about fate. It's about loss. It's about heartbreak. It's about really truly reflecting on your life and whether you're living life in the fullest. It was almost a DNF for me. I felt no emotional attachment to any of the characters. Danny seemed bland. Bella, I didn't really feel her carefree nature, and that really sucks because it's such a pretty cover and I was so excited for it. It wasn't really well written for me, so I'm gonna have to say I have to give this like 2 star if I'm being real with you. I don't know, it just felt very bland. This might be someone's cup of tea, but it wasn't mine. Up next is Beach Lane by Melissa Dela Cruz. It's about 3 girls, basically summer in the Hamptons. One girl was New York it girl until her dad's company literally went bankrupt. Another girl is just a girl from a small town. Another girl is looking for a boy that she spent a steamy spring break with. This is just one of those summer stories. It's a fun read, I guess you could say. Basically, they are nannies for this rich family, and they kind of go on their own summer adventures. It's not my favorite book. One of those reads where you just kind of didn't want to really think about anything, kind of read just to read. I believe this is a part of a 4-book series, but I don't really have any interest in reading the other 3 books. And this is an all pairs series. I enjoyed it more than In 5 Years, so since I gave In 5 Years 1.5 stars, I would say I give this a 2 star. Those 2 books are definitely not going to be staying in my library. That's all I'm going to say. This next book is very highly anticipated by TikTok. It's literally all I see. The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. I don't even know if I have to even go over this. Basically, it is about a girl named Olive, and she decides to fake date one of the youngest and hot professor in her grad school college just because her best friend wants to date her ex-boyfriend. Honestly, this book is so cute. I love this book. Adam Carlson, what a man, what a man, what a man. Like, all I gotta say. As you can tell by all my tabs, I seriously enjoyed this book so much. What I really liked about it is that it was set in grad schools, and Olive really didn't really have any like relationship experience other than her ex-boyfriend. You learn so much about Olive and how raw she gets and how she talks to Adam, and Adam really cares for her and really listens, and it just felt like a really good relatable book for any young adult to read, and it's so cute. Honestly, one of my favorite book boyfriends ever. This book was just so cute. I couldn't stop smiling. It did take me a few days to get through it, but I don't regret reading it. And I'm not really a science person. I despise science, to be honest, but this book made me want to be a scientist. We're on to the last book, and I want to say, I don't want to blame this book, but I feel like this book literally, it left me in a book hangover, and that's probably why I didn't finish my 10th book for this month. There's a reason why, and I have never cried so much. The book is called You've Reached Sam by Dustin Dao. I'm not a book crier, but I knew before I started reading this book, I was gonna cry my eyes out. Basically, the whole concept of the book is about a girl named Julie and her boyfriend Sam. They are in high school. They're 17. It's their senior year. Her boyfriend Sam passed away, and it's just her way of dealing with guilt. And a week after he passed away, she decided to call his phone, and he picked up. And it just takes you Oh my god, I'm gonna cry because I'm just thinking about it. It just takes you into wonderful months of her trying to let go of Sam. He takes her to places just to kind of relive the relationship and just how they got together. You find the story of how they fell in love. I love how it goes back to like how they first met and how they fell in love, and then at the same time with other chapters it shows present day and how she's dealing with it in school, dealing with grief with her friends, and some people, his like old friends, are blaming her for his death. Just her really navigating through lots of her senior year, because they planned after their senior year that they were going to move together and live together and go on a trip, but obviously that's not going to happen because he passed away. And it's just such a beautifully written yet very heartbreaking story of someone dealing with grief and letting go. And the last few pages, it really messed me up, and just even thinking about it, like, you guys, I'm like crying. I'm sorry, like that's how much it really affected me. As you can see, I tabbed the book a lot. The page, the cover is beautiful, and then even like under the dust cover, that is so beautiful. This book is just such a beautiful piece, and I feel like anyone could enjoy this book. Honestly, literally one of the books that I'm going to cherish on my bookshelf, and it's probably one of my favorite books of all time. I'm going to be real with you, no matter how heartbreaking it was such a beautiful story. I feel like Julie dealt with enough conflict, and really like it showed like such a great balance of that despite the one person she wanted to spend her life with, she's surrounded by so much love. And it's all about forgiveness and saying goodbye and letting go and just really cherishing time with the ones you love. And it's just chef's kiss. My favorite. These two books are my favorite books I read this month. November 9th by Colleen Hoover and You've Reached Sam by Dustin Dao. Such beautiful books. Like, I don't regret, like, I was so scared on reading it, and if it's in your TBR, highly recommend reading it. I love that book so freaking much. All the books I read this month plus my Kindle, those are 9 books. I'll link down below the books. I'm gonna try to look for like used books that you guys could possibly buy it from. I highly recommend buying used books, and if not, try to buy from Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is expensive, but the money does go back to the author, or just try to buy it from their direct website. Always support your creatives. Like I said, my favorite books I read this month was You've Reached Sam and November 9th. That was my reading wrap up, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying these book videos, and I love books. Like, it's one of my favorite things in the world. I'll see you guys on Monday for a brand new video. Bye.
That's how it goes when you're Hollywood perfect.